say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts a Crawford victory by decision, but urges caution, pointing to Gervonta Davis's warning that engaging too much could spell danger for Crawford. With Canelo's natural size and power advantage, Stephen A. argues that Crawford's path to victory lies in his defense, speed, and ring IQ, not in trading punches. Both analysts agree that in this matchup, strategy will outweigh raw strength.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Meanwhile, Max Kellerman points out that Terrence Crawford's skill set looks sharper, giving him a clear technical edge. Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, brings a durable chin and a naturally larger frame with a skeleton built for power in every exchange. Yet in his recent fights, Canelo hasn't looked as dominant or precise as before, showing subtle signs of decline. This sets the stage for a fascinating clash: Crawford's timing and technique versus Canelo's size and resilience, a true battle of finesse against raw strength.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Mm-hmm. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guay.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, the respected analyst and former champion, has voiced his support for Terrence Crawford, while also recognizing the enormous challenge this fight presents. Crawford has proven time and again that he can dominate across weight classes, but this matchup is on a completely different level. Tarver emphasizes that it isn't just Crawford's toughest test. It's also a challenge Canelo Alvarez has never truly confronted before.
Tarver's take, I'm Bud counting all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing IQ, expects the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford to be a careful, measured affair. Both fighters, he says, will avoid unnecessary risks at first, using the round to study movement, timing, and openings. Crawford, in particular, is patient at the start of big fights, waiting to see what his opponent offers before setting traps. Canelo, too, tends to feel out the distance early, adjusting as the bout unfolds. Bradley points out that this chess-like approach means the first round won't be fireworks, it will be a tactical exchange, laying the groundwork for what's to come.
First, Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are going, trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? Let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, offers a unique perspective on this matchup. He emphasizes that Crawford has already cemented himself as an all-time great in his natural divisions, especially at welterweight. But Khan warns that boxing has weight classes for a reason. Moving up against naturally bigger fighters carries real risks. He believes Crawford didn't need to take on the pressure of facing Canelo, since his legacy is already secure. Still, Khan respects the ambition behind the decision. He sees it as a bold attempt to silence doubters and achieve what few boxers in history have done, defy the limits of weight divisions. Yet he is clear, while Crawford is elite, stepping up against someone as powerful as Canelo is a gamble that could either elevate him forever or put his career on the line.
And we did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful. Yeah. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make him for a purpose, and I highly respect and say pound for pound the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. That he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit. Very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Lafleur views this fight through the lens of business and spectacle. To him, Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford aren't just fighters. They are global phenomena, each with massive fan bases spanning countries and demographics. Lafler points out that few matchups in modern boxing even approach this level of magnitude. This isn't merely a battle of skill, it's a collision of empires. Canelo, the established face of boxing, versus Crawford, the rising pound-for-pound king. Lafler argues the hype is justified. Rarely do fighters of this caliber agree to meet, especially when legacy and weight differences hang in the balance.
High-profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real. You know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft, and his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell shines a light on what makes Crawford so dangerous, his unique style. The way he switches stances effortlessly and uses precise footwork to control distance sets him apart. Coldwell believes Crawford's leg movement is often underrated. It lets him create angles, frustrate opponents, and dictate the pace of a fight, even against a relentless pressure fighter like Canelo. According to Coldwell, these tools could be the key to victory. If Crawford stays mobile and avoids being pinned against the ropes, he has everything he needs to outmaneuver Canelo and score points round after round.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment at distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather zeroes in on a crucial factor in this matchup: weight and natural size. Canelo has long dominated at super middleweight, a division that perfectly fits his frame. Crawford, on the other hand, is stepping up to a weight that isn't truly his own, raising questions about how the extra pounds might affect his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather emphasizes that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in advantage. He won't need to make drastic adjustments, while Crawford faces the challenge of adapting to a bigger, stronger opponent.
Big factor, and I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owns. He owns his weight class. And so, I mean, and he even went up higher. So, I mean, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terrence Crawford. I mean, this guy seems like he's amazing. I mean, he's, you know, I mean, I'm a big fan of Terrence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. You know, so I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's going to lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst sheds light on Canelo's recent performances, pointing out a subtle but concerning flaw. While Alvarez has trained with relentless intensity, he's shown difficulty in cutting off the ring in his last few fights. Opponents have been able to move freely, slipping past his power shots. Against a fighter like Crawford, whose game revolves around movement and angles, this weakness could be costly. The analyst insists that Canelo must regain the ability to trap opponents, control the space, and limit their escape routes if he hopes to stay on top.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight stance.
Former champion David Haye offers a surprising change of heart. At first, he thought Canelo's size and raw power would be insurmountable for Crawford, making victory seem nearly impossible for the smaller fighter. But after watching Crawford in training, seeing his relentless work ethic, precision, and technical brilliance, Haye admits his perspective has shifted. What once seemed unclear is now evident. Crawford has a real shot at victory, and Haye can no longer count him out.
When that's beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring of each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good bigger can beat a good little one, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's like it's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, you know, that anyone who's interested in boxing wants to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. And now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, a former world champion, delivers a stern warning to Canelo Alvarez. He reminds us that size and strength alone don't guarantee victory. Horn believes Crawford's elite defensive skills could be the great equalizer, allowing him to minimize damage and neutralize Canelo's power. Crawford has an uncanny ability to anticipate punches, roll with shots, and avoid being caught flush, meaning Canelo's natural size advantage might not be as decisive if he can't land cleanly. Horn emphasizes that Crawford's defensive discipline could be the deciding factor, frustrating Canelo, limiting exchanges, and punishing openings with precision. One veteran fighter, who has studied Crawford closely over the years, sums it up with conviction. After analyzing Crawford's growth, preparation, and performances, he simply cannot bet against him. He highlights Crawford's mental toughness, consistency, and ability to rise to the occasion, qualities that set him apart even in the face of daunting challenges. For this veteran, Crawford has already proven he belongs among the sport's greatest. And this bout against Canelo is just another stage for him to showcase that excellence.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big dog.
I'm going to go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm going to live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought. Why did I think you was a DB?
I don't know.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terrence Crawford. If Terrence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?
And that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Stay tuned for what's coming next, because the story is far from over. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ring.